In the cold of a winter's night, a crow tengu rests beneath the soil, with certain warmth enveloping her. Not just the warmer surroundings of the underground palace she's visiting, but the hot flash caused by her own anxiety. She stands in front of the door of the room of the place's mistress, wanting nothing more than to knock, but not having the courage to do so. It's silly, she thinks to herself. The atmosphere here is unsurprisingly lively, so why is she even freezing up like this? Because of how long it's been since she last tried interviewing someone? Because her interview idea itself is silly? Because she might be considered annoying? Because there's always that one voice screaming at her that her words aren't of worth. That she should just quit while she's ahead. That she's both not seeing enough of the world, yet wasting everyone's time when she tries. That... Come in. I've been told to expect you. Who knew a moment of anger was all it took to focus? The crow tengu, Hatate Himekaido, enters the room to immediate awe. This was her casual workplace. It was large enough to be a whole library. Well, I'm sorry. I hope I didn't pick a bad time to come. That smug Satori face, I love it. It's fine. Don't worry. It wasn't really doing much anyway. Hatate takes a deep breath and does her best to put on the work face. Well, okay. It's nice to meet you, Satori Komeji. Likewise, Hatate Himekaido. I should really get used to the names. Himekaido. Right. The pet who introduced me at your doorstep would have told you my name. Indeed. Hatate approaches Satori's desk, giving an anxious glare towards the Satori's third eye, staring right towards her. If it's not so much as, do you mind pointing that thing away? It's kind of an invasion of privacy. Satori left out a hefty sigh, but listens and follows suit regardless, shifting her eye to the side. Does that make you feel more comfortable? Yes, thank you. Satori gestures towards the free chair on the other side of her table. Hatate takes the invitation, finding the chair surprisingly comfortable. How well made was the furniture down here? Oh, well, maybe the furniture in the Tengu village just really sucked. So I take it you're here to interview me, right? Is there anything you particularly had in mind? Well, it's now that I was quite fascinated hearing stories about your vast collection of pets. I figured a piece on the bird here is, in particular, would be just kind of thing for my paper. I can already tell you have some really fun critters around here, so I'd love to learn more about them. And I'm sure the readers of the Kakashi Spirit News would love to as well. Oh, you're taking an interest in my pets? Here I was worried you were going to ask some annoying questions about my private life. Please, I have better things to do than that. I'm more tasteful than some others. The shade to Aya. Really like the art style of this game. In that case, I'd love to take you up on your offer. Wait, really? You don't think it's too silly of an idea or anything? No, of course not. I could talk about my pets for hours. And, well, I don't typically get any visitors in the first place, although I don't appreciate their company either. Yeah, I can unfortunately understand why. Some people down here seem really mean. Yeah, get used to it. For better or for worse. Hasn't stopped me from doing truly what I love at least. I thought they couldn't help but wonder what kind of hobbies Satori got up to in her spare time. Maybe it was impersonal enough to ask about later. That's good at least. Well, anyway, any case, if you're down, then how about we get this interview started? I have a few particular pets that I'd like to ask about. Feel free to shoot your question then. Well, the kiwi bird freaking zooming around the palace. Holy crap. So, that little kiwi bird of yours, right? She seems really energetic. What's it like to deal with as a pet owner? I've had to change furniture in several rooms for Curie. Oh dear. You see, she's such a little ball of unfiltered energy that she kept constantly tripping around the place. Curie never got that hurt from any of her antics, but I started to realize she needed a bit of help, you know? I love her, but she has been one of my most handful pets. I'm glad you've given her some good care. Seems like a really good friend at the end of the day. Yes, very true. Not enough people down in the underground appreciate the idea that animals can be your best friend. Curie is very different from what I was used to when I first adopted her. But in sticking it out with the learning process, I learned so many things to appreciate about her. She's so adorable to play with. For instance, an absolute fantastic cuddler too. She does look like a very cute cuddly thing. Pet. Aw, that's so cute. I'm glad I managed to find her. Kiwi birds are very extent. Like many things I've taken under my wing, I really wonder how she even got down here in the first place. And, well, kiwis aren't exactly really good at defending themselves. Running, sure, but I hardly expect anyone to win a fight. She could have gotten seriously hurt before I ever laid my eye on her. I may not have ever met her at all, but she's found somewhere comfortable to be here, and I think that's really nice. Yeah, I've always wondered about the climate for animals. Must be like, yeah, my bad. I'm speaking and struggling over my words. Yeah, I've always wondered what the climate for animals must be like down here. Awful, most of the time. The underground requires adaptation, and a lot of creatures who aren't born from the more magical pets part of nature simply aren't built for it. Nor do a lot of people down here, especially around former hell, know how to take care of the more fragile critters. Which is why Curia is a large example of why I am a pet owner, I think. I like to view the palace of the earth spirits as a safe haven in a sea of terrible pet owners. Maybe calling myself the one who cares is a bit egotistical, but I think it's true. I don't think I would have to disagree. This place is way more comfortable to be in than the rest of former hell to me. Really now, most tengu I've met are quite the partying type. I'm usually sitting on the sideline of most parties. Crows can get a bit kind of too much for me. Reading is difficult tonight, huh? Yes. Reading is always difficult, especially when I don't prepare myself for it. But it's okay. You're certainly tall. Wait, what did that say? Maybe I'm not too far from a little bird myself. You're certainly tall for one. But yes, I'm glad you're comfortable here. And I'm happy your pets can feel the same. The crane hiding around the garden. Oh, that's nice. That's a very, very majestic animal. So, when I was poking around your garden, I found this guy hiding in a bush. I managed to lure him out for this picture, though. It's extremely curious to know how you even have a proper garden down here. But I think I'll hold that question for a little while. What's this bird really like? That would be Atlas, as you can see here. He's a bit of a shy fellow. What he's absolutely not shy about is his appetite, however. Atlas will truly eat damn near anything you give him, but when we got the garden going, I don't think it's a coincidence he started building a nest there. He's lovely when you get to know him though, and his appetite might simply be a part of the constantly changing diet that cranes usually exhibit. But as I've mentioned, he's mostly settled into the garden. It's where he feels the most comfortable in, and he's never been very sociable either. He's only ever really gotten along with one other pet in the palace, out of many here, which would be Utsuo. Hey! That's kinda cool. He quite literally picked the most nuclear option? Well, you know, that question you were holding around in the first... Well, you know that question you were holding about how the garden is even maintainable in the underground like this in the first place? Utsuo will be directly responsible for that, thanks to her ability to create artificial yet accurate suns for the plants to flourish from. Wait, that actually, kinda makes sense. In a stupid way, but I get it, you know? I take it she doesn't just sit there for hours, right? Her artificial suns stick around for a long while. She's good at providing lasting power like that. Infinite power. I'm very glad we have a proper plant life, thanks to her. Especially since the other pets adore it all too. Of course, Atlas usually gets to most of the berries first. Can't blame him for having his eye on the prize. I also wouldn't mind some of those berries right now, quite frankly. I'm getting kinda hungry right now. Do you mind if I take some later? Go ahead. The stork and her little chick. This stork and her chick are absolutely adorable. What's it like looking over a family? Ah yes, that's Monokuro and one of her chicks, Vanira. It's worth noting that I'd raised two storks since they were chicks, imported from the mountain area, around the entrance to the underground. So just seeing them go on to make a family together has been really sweet for me. To get onto what it's like looking after a family though, I think I've mostly pretty gotten used to it, since they mostly take care of themselves anyway. However, I do my best to help provide for the chicks, just to take some of the stress off the parents. And they're really adorable when they're together. And I remember how fascinating it was to watching them build a nest together, constantly providing for each other while waiting for the eggs to hatch. And when the time came, watching their chicks start to lovingly follow them, it was just so precious for me. And those chicks would start to play with other birds too. It's been absolutely wonderful to observe. I think it's really reinforced this sense of community I've always loved in regards to raising all of these other different animals. It can get really hard to maintain so many pets, but it's really satisfying at the end of the day, and I wouldn't change a thing. You know, I think that's a perfect note to end this section of the interview on. I think this is just the kind of lovely and inspiring thing my readers would love to see. Thank you. I perhaps got a little carried away there, honestly. Sometimes honesty is like that. That is definitely true. The cockatoo resting beneath an abandoned bird cage. Aww, bird. Sometimes something funny I happened to notice was a cockatoo underneath a rather abandoned bird cage. I take it you like letting your birds fly freely. Yes, I find my pets in better spirits when they aren't as restricted around the palace. Most of them behave pretty well regardless. This cockatoo, Percy though, happens to be one of the worst behaved ones. Ironic that you'd find him near an abandoned cage. Percy's quite the rowdy one. He frequently gets into fights with the parrots in the palace. Verbally, mind you. Oh no. Oh no, truly only the greatest arguments would ensue. It's got even worse after Uso taught the parents how to swear. Based. Oh my god. It's like hearing an actual underground brawl sometimes, except it's just loud squawking. Almost like tengu brawls too. The environment follows me wherever I go. Damn it. Unfortunate. I'm still fond of Percy, however. He can be a handful, but he's quite handsome. He acts very proud, and I like seeing that in my pets. I also might name him after a protagonist from one of my favorite books. Percy Jackson. You know, just maybe. I'm not all surprised you're the reading type. Definitely, I spend hours reading books every single day. All of these different stories by all of these different authors across can soak you on the outside world. It gets really interesting. Yeah, I really sunk into fiction sometimes too. It's just, like, really comfortable and all, you know? So I think that's really neat. You sort of left a mark on how it's affected you onto a pet you love. Like, when I started thinking about dodging life from the Tengu village, I found books and manga to be pretty great escape from my troubles. I could never really find other people to talk about them, unfortunately. But that didn't stop me from enjoying them on my own time. Like, there's one manga I read all the time about some kid who literally calls his monster's friends into a game of sports with a cell phone. It might sound weird, but it's really entertaining at the end of the day. All of the monster designs were freaking cool, I loved it. That sounds quite fun. I never really found manga to be my thing. But since I'm constantly on the lookout for more atypical fiction, maybe it's worth a shot. I could throw a few suggestions after this interview if you want. Consider me interested. And yes, I agree that fiction is a wonderful escape from the harshness of reality. I've gone through plenty of rough times myself, but there's always been these great stories of the right people prevailing to keep me motivated in life. Yeah, it's exactly like that for me too. You know, I'm having a lot of fun talking to you actually. But more similar than I expected, you know? Likewise, this is fun. Oh yeah, we got completely sidetracked. Do you have another stories about the cockatoo? Well, there's the time you rode a cat into the absolute incredible mission of trying to impress another cockatoo, who unfortunately did not reciprocate. Damn, he even brought the noble steed. Well, at least I'm sure this is absolutely the kind of spicy relationship drama my readers would be looking for, right? Surely. Let's check what I've written down in my notes. I think that's everything. Well, those were some very nice fellas of yours. I think the readers of Kakashi Spirit News are absolutely gonna love this upcoming article. Or at least, that's what you really hoped for anyway. Thank you so much for your time, Satori. This was a wonderful interview. I appreciate you coming down here. It's rare I have visitors I actually enjoy talking to. I'm glad I could be one of the few. In any case, as much as I love to say, I should really get going and have this article out soon. I'll be on my way, and I'll grab a snack on my way out. Actually, Hatate, before you go, do you mind if we talk for a bit? There's something I noticed when you came here that bothered me. Huh? It seemed that you were extremely anxious when you got here. I could catch that you were really worried about being able to get some good material for this. Do you need someone to talk to? If you're getting really worked up about your writing at all. I feel like I might be able to help you if you're willing to confide in me. I don't know, it's just... But Hatate couldn't help but think to herself, who else had ever cared to ask her this? I suppose I could, like, try talking about it. But maybe you're right. Maybe it would help. Talk about as much as you think you need to. Hatate took a deep breath, then settling down on where to start. So, I guess it's important to start with the context that I'm pretty young by the standards of a tengu. I haven't had the hundreds of thousands of years to grab experience on things in comparison to everyone else. A few years ago, I was finally thrust into the newspaper workforce. At the time, I was actually pretty excited for it. Because to me, I could finally follow in the footsteps of my idol at the time. Tell me, Satori, have you ever been unfortunate enough to meet Aya Shimemaru? A few times, sadly. Yeah, that sounds about right. Back then, I always found a newspaper really exciting. But occasionally I'd notice something wrong slip through the cracks based on my own research. When I felt like I had a decent grasp of this whole writing thing, I tried going up to her and giving her my honest feedback. I was polite, I wasn't trying to be antagonistic, and I just wanted to help someone I really respected at the time. She ignored every piece of advice I gave her, every single one, and put me down for it. She said my work was awful when I tried to give her benefit of the doubt in regards to the problems I had with hers, and that just really deflated me at the time. I've always been trying to push my newspaper to some sort of actual notoriety, but I never get anywhere with the way I do things. But I don't want to just mindlessly put weight in every title. I don't want to just focus on what's trendy. I just want to talk about the little things in the world I've grown to love. And apparently that's not good enough. And I just feel so burned out and anxious recently. I have a lot worse social anxiety than the majority of people around me. I can't just make connections easily in the same way that everyone else can. And it makes you question, what am I supposed to do? Besides slam my head against the wall every day until someone magically works? Until I finally write something about I'm proud of that gets people attention. I see, that's a lot to take in. Well, let's start with a question before I get into anything further. Do you truly enjoy writing at the end of the day? Yes. Do you view it as an escape in the same way reading does? Sometimes. Then it seems to me like that your problem is that you forgot how to enjoy writing. You're gonna need to take a step back for yourself here. Are you writing for yourself, or are you writing to raise an arbitrary number? You might not have a large following at the end of the day, but what matters is that the people who do read what you have to say care about it. Didn't you just say a bit about how you thought your readers were going to love what you had to show? Was that just you pulling a face for your own sake? Okay, perhaps I maybe went a touch too far there. You didn't. It's the honest truth and you were right to say it. Alright. Regardless, you see my point here, right? You do have confidence about what you're doing somewhere. Perhaps you should be paying more attention to it. Stop trying to please bad actors. Stop trying to make a number grow. Stop trying to make a number grow as if it was the only sign of your skill. Focus on what's making you want to create at the end of the day. And if you feel like that you must appease someone, focus on the people who aren't just trying to drag you down. There's an extreme difference between valuable criticism and unnecessary hatred. You need to start figuring out where that line is defined. If you can learn to keep yourself happy with what you do, you can find that spark again. This game went a complete 180, by the way. Like, we were talking about birds, but it's fun. I like it. If you can learn to keep yourself happy with that, you can find that spark again. It won't come instantly, and it may not even come for a while, but you can get there. You just have to calm down and try. I suppose you're right, huh? Take it from someone who once learned how to write as a coping mechanism for their troubles. I can tell you love what you do deep down, and I understand that desire to prove yourself as well. So don't let the latter consume you to the point you lose the spark for the former. I can't help too much more than that without having your writing directly in my hands, but I hope any of this was useful to you. I think it really was. Thank you. It's kind of really rare to people actually trying to help me with something. I'll try and step back for a few days. See if I can find the wind from my wings again. And when I'm ready, well, I'll try and make something that I'm proud of. I cannot stress how much I've loved seeing what I've had today. If what I can do inspires anyone, I'm truly honored. Again, thank you so much for everything. The pictures, the interview, the advice, all of it. I really should be heading on my way. But I'll try and make the best of what's to come. That's the spirit. Thank you for coming down here, Tate. I hope we can meet again soon. I wish the same. See you around, Satori. Have a good night. Same to you. I thought I was going to have to spend a while figuring out what exactly to do from here. Maybe it wasn't even worth planning out the exact details. But wherever her life and career may go from here, she was ready to soar.